I'm here with Coop and Double Rice No Bean, and we're going to do the first official mock draft now that the draft order's been released. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much, just hanging out here, ready to look at some of these teams, and I'm decided to see where you guys have me going.
All right, well, probably not the same place you have you going, but what do you guys, before we even jump into it, what do you guys think of the draft order? Any surprises, anything to kind of jump out at you?
One, I was surprised to see you at 4. I thought you were gonna be 3, just based on the points. I know you guys were tied before. I'm just surprised to see they took the leap on you. But aside from that, I mean, Dump predicted his number right on the money with 25, so maybe he had some insider information. But other than that, I think it looks pretty similar to last time.
Yeah, as far as I know, Dump didn't know anything, so that was a pretty good guess on his part. Coop, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised when I saw the list. Of course, the tie with Doink and Faz with the coin flip. That was kind of fun. But yeah, I guess Tiny moving back a few spots. I guess we didn't really know like that was going to happen. And I guess he did that willingly because since he left and rejoined with partial points or whatever, he wanted to go ahead and move back in the draft. So that was pretty much my only surprise was Tiny.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. He was a lot higher, and then I won't say a lot. He was a decent amount higher, and then after Prime made that rule change for next year, I guess Tiny didn't want to wait till next year, and he just went ahead and deducted himself. All right, so most obvious pick of the draft is going to be Prime at number one, and as I reveal number one, all three of us in agreement, Colts. So I'm guessing you guys aren't buying any of this Commanders or 49ers or anything else he's been kind of peddling out there.
I actually am not 100% sold that he goes Colts. I know that like he went Chiefs, and then when we did the redraft because EA forced us to, he went back to the Colts. But I don't think the Chiefs really fit his play style now. So I
Yeah.
could possibly see him going with a different team. I think Colts probably are still in the lead, but I'm not sold that that's like 100% sure thing like it used to be in the past.
Yeah, I could see that. What about you, Bean?
So if I had to like also take Colts or the field, I'm probably gonna take the field just because he came off a loss against you, and that was his final game of the year or the cycle rather.
Yeah.
And he always complained, or not complained, but he always talked about how good your team was. And I feel like in his head he thinks that if he would have had a better team, he would have had a different outcome. So I could see him, going for a not more loaded roster, but definitely a roster that's a little bit better than the Colts. I don't think the Colts are that great of a roster. But I would agree with Coop. I don't think the Chiefs really fit his play style. I think he's more of a defensive player and then real methodical on offense. I don't think he wants his big one play touchdowns with Tyreek. I just don't think that fits his scheme.
Yeah, I've still got him kind of the same thing. If I have to pick the Colts or the field, it's probably the field, but the Colts as any one team have obviously more
Yeah.
likelihood of being drafted. Um, and he's been teasing the Commanders, kind of that's the team he's going back and forth with. I don't even think that's the best fit for him. I think the 49ers are probably a better fit, but for whatever reason it's the Commanders that he's choosing to tease this time.
I think the Commanders fit him pretty well. He's got, Scary Terry. He was excited to have him potentially as a Colt. I know that there was some actual NFL smoke going out about Terry going to the Colts.
Yeah,
So maybe he got a little excited about that. Plus, he's got the crazy D line. And then, he's going to get Acrobat on all the guys he devs up anyways. So you
that's
don't
right.
really have to worry about cornerbacks.
I will say though, just from the time that I've been here, this has got to be the best Colts roster, right? You got
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Taylor with Freight Train and what is it, Jukebox or Spin Cycle or one of those.
Something.
Gilmore in the secondary. I mean, you've got a lot of pieces. So, and he's got his first back. He didn't have that last season
Yeah.
or last cycle.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Colts are gonna need like eventually you're gonna have to move on from Ryan pretty quick,
Yeah.
and then maybe some wide receivers. But like overall, the team isn't that bad.
No, I think it's a really solid team. Um, that's why I think of all the years to take him, this would make the most sense. All right. So pick number two, we got Mike, and two of us have Mike taking the Eagles, and one says the Chargers. Coop, why'd you go with the Chargers?
Yeah, so Mike basically spent this whole cycle struggling to find a quarterback. I don't know that they have a for sure good quarterback on the roster. I mean, we'll see when we get the game if you can, you know, dev up Hurts or whatever, but I I don't know. I just see him like maybe taking a team that's like pretty good, but also where he doesn't have to worry about finding a quarterback. I just threw out the Chargers. I don't really know like where he's at, but at the end of the day, I just don't really see the Eagles as maybe his pick.
Okay. What about you, Bean?
So I think the Eagles are actually one of the better teams.
Yeah.
Just starting a franchise wise. I mean, you got your receivers for the cycle and AJ Brown, and then Devonta Smith. You've got good running back. We've seen what Dump did with him. I think he got him to a 99 X factor, and he's got the mobile QB. He likes using those little QB running plays that we saw with Trevor. So I think he can do a little bit more with that with this team. And then he's got the 2 firsts, which I think Mike likes drafting. So.
Yeah.
I think this is just a perfect fit for him,
Yeah, you got
regardless of what he's saying.
those 2 firsts. You've got Jordan Davis, rookie defensive tackle, who's
Yeah.
going to be good. You've got N'Kobe Dean, rookie middle linebacker, who's going to be good. Secondary should be solid, adding Bradbury to an already good secondary with Slay. And then, like you said, 2 firsts. You can use them on a quarterback if you don't like Hurts. You can use them somewhere on the defense. That's really all you need. Is if you don't like Hurts, you need a quarterback, and if you want to bolster the defense a little bit, maybe get them a little younger. Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay, not the youngest guys. So you turn those 2 firsts into 2 more defensive players. I think that's a great team to build with.
Yeah, and I mean that one pick is the Saints, who if everything goes as planned, I mean D-Muse is what's around like 16, so more than likely it's gonna fall to him. I don't think that's gonna be a high pick, obviously, but
Yeah.
you could still move that. You since you have 2, you could move 2 and Hurts, and I'm sure someone will take the bite
Oh,
or
absolutely.
take the bait.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to move us to pick 3. We got Woods. All 3 of us picked the same. And I kind of went back and forth with this pick, but it looks like all of us picked the same. We all picked the Bills. I think it comes down to the Bills and the Commanders with Woods. And I think the difference between Josh Allen and Sam Howell is going to be way too much for him to turn his back on Josh Allen. He's already said he wanted to go back there. I know the Washington front 4 is ridiculous, but Buffalo's isn't bad with Ed Oliver if he keeps him. And then Josh Allen to Sam Howell is just too big of a disproportionate difference there. There's no way he goes to that rookie after he spent the whole time looking for a quarterback before he took the Bills this time.
Yeah, and we've already seen him in the past. Like he took the Browns back-to-back cycles. So Woods isn't afraid to do that. I just think, yeah, when he gets the game, the Bills are they're way too loaded to just pass up them and take something like the Commanders where you do have a lot of holes on offense and stuff that you have to address. And the Bills, you kind of don't have to worry about too much.
Yeah, Woods, I was in the same boat as you, Bomber. I had the Bills and the Commanders were my final 2. And I mean, he keeps saying he wants to go back to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe him, but I think once he gets the game and realizes that Escape Artist has changed and Bazooka's changed, he's not going to be in love as much as he was prior. But I still don't see how the Commanders are that big of an upgrade for him. So
Yeah.
I'm going with Josh Allen and the
Yeah, I
Bills.
think even with the downgraded Escape Artist and Gunslinger, it's going to be that Sam Howell to Josh Allen
Yeah.
difference. Or
No matter
Josh
what,
Allen.
Josh Allen's going to be better.
Exactly. All right, so number 4 is me, and I kind of changed it up this time. Right now, I'm sitting on the fence at Jets-Lions, almost 50-50, and I went with the Lions this time just to kind of throw a little wrench into things and see how it would turn out. Both you guys picked the Jets. I really like the Jets with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. I think they'll be fun. And then you have Zach Wilson, who may or may not be good. But Lions, that 98 speed on Jamison Williams, you can't find that everywhere. And then Aiden Hutchinson, I expect to be superstar at least. And then 2 extra firsts. To me, it's tough. It's almost a coin flip between the 2 for me.
Yeah, the Lions are going to be a lot of fun, and I could see you once we get the game and you start digging more into stuff. I could definitely see you maybe flipping to where the Lions kind of maybe edge out the Jets a little bit. But I just went ahead and threw the Jets on there for now since we don't have the game yet. So
Yeah.
I'm just leaving that as your pick for today. But yeah, I could easily see the Lions moving up your board.
Yeah, I just think the Jets are a little more well-rounded than the Lions right now. I mean, you got a bunch of rookies on the Jets. I think 2 or 3 first rounders or something like
Yeah,
that.
3 first, and then Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end,
Yeah, Jermaine
should have been a
Johnson.
top 10 pick.
Yeah, and Lions. I think Jamison Williams is 98 speed. And I think that's ridiculous, but I just can't see you passing up the Jets. I think you're gonna definitely come down to these two teams. I know you've been throwing the smoke out like Titans and I forget the other team, but I don't think those
There's
are
been
gonna have a chance. I think it's
Packers,
just these two.
Panthers, a couple teams that look like they'd be fun, but I
Your
don't.
1%.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
something
I
crazy
think it's
happened.
gonna come down to Jets and Lions, and I guess my coin flip said Jets.
All right, so let's move on to pick 5. Now this is Matt. Speaking of smoke, but all of us agreed Matt's going to the Seahawks. I know he's floated this Texans thing and talking about, oh, that's what the people want to see. I went and screenshotted what the people want to see, and last time he played the Colts, it was like 2 viewers. Nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wants to see the little tickle fests between the two of them. And I don't think he really wants to see the Texans either. If anything, I would see him taking the Titans to go back there. Texans, just too much work there. I think the Seahawks, he's got the 2 picks. It's his favorite team. You have an offense that's pretty much intact other than needing a quarterback. I mean, you got the rookie Walker at halfback, who should be good, 93 speed, I think. And then you got DK and Lockett. You've got Noah Fant at tight end. And then you've got a couple pieces on defense that they're going to need a little work, but they've got that 6'4", 97 speed corner. Guys like that you can bring along as the season goes or cycle goes. And then the 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, Matt originally, he was all aboard this I want to cycle QB train, but I feel like the past 4 or 5 smoke screens we've had, not one team has had a cycle QB on it.
Yeah.
And I still believe these are smoke screens. I think he has his eye on another team that no one knows about. But if I had to pick between the Seahawks and Texans, I think it's guaranteed Seahawks. I don't think there's any way he goes to the Texans.
Yeah.
So his being, like you said, his favorite team, pretty loaded offense, 2 firsts. I think this is a good fit.
Texans top 5 would be pretty crazy, especially since he's not a fan.
Yeah, that would absolutely make it crazy. And maybe he would do it just for that, but I don't think so. I think it's Seahawks easily. I think if anything, he just doesn't want to be so predictable and have his team locked down already, so he throws a couple other teams out there.
I mean, I get his thinking between like saying the Texans is because you've got Prime there who's easy to schedule with, and Matt doesn't know where a lot of people are going since he's picking so high.
Yeah.
And I could see him maybe going back to the AFC South just because he knows like maybe 1 or 2 guys in there are going to be easy to schedule with, but it's going to be hard for him to pass up on the Seahawks, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a long cycle. I mean, I get you want to have somebody you can schedule with, but you've really only got Prime, will be there if he picks ahead of you, or not if he picks ahead of you, but if he takes the Colts. Faz most likely sounds like he's going to take the Jaguars. You don't know who's taking that 4th team anyway. So 4 games a season, you have good scheduling. I don't know if it's worth taking the Texans and passing up on your favorite team.
It wouldn't be for me.
Yeah.
Not even close.
One other thing with the AFC South, like we said, Faz might be getting down there, and I know Matt is pretty. He's free only after like 7:30, and if you just think about whenever Faz's work schedule is, he starts at what, right after that. So it might be a little tough for him. I think he not to say that he'd avoid that schedule conflict, but it's one thing to consider because you're going to get one good scheduler in Prime, and then you're not too sure with Faz just because his work schedule is rather all over the place. Not all over the place, but out of the ordinary.
I think for someone like Matt, though, it might work out because Matt's he's West
PST.
Coast guy. So Faz, I think, goes in. I want to say like 10 or 11. I think it's a little later.
And he can kind of move his lunch break around too if he doesn't have a meeting. So he can play during the day.
Yeah, I forgot Matt's West Coast guy, but yeah. That could work out then. He'd probably be real happy with that.
But it's the same thing.
Still no way he's going to the Texans.
You only know 4 games a season. You don't know anything else.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's worth taking the Texans. All right, so then we have Finns, and once again, everybody in agreement. Favorite team, damn name almost sounds like Dolphins. I think he's going to take the Dolphins. 2 absolute burners at receiver, 2 first-round picks still. Whether you like 2 or not, kind of the same boat that you were talking about with the Eagles. You don't like them, trade Tua and 1 of the first or 2 of the first even and get whoever you want. I think the Dolphins are definitely going to be his pick there.
Yeah, if the Dolphins fall and they're on the board, and at the end of the day, I never know exactly what Woods is going to do, or even Mike, for that matter. But if the Dolphins are there, I can't see those guys picking ahead of him, and that's probably the best Dolphins team that I can remember in a long time, like in game.
Yeah, absolutely.
He picked behind both Meats and Mike when they took the Dolphins, correct?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be probably one of, if not his first attempt to have the Dolphins on the board, and he hasn't taken them yet in SML as far as I'm aware. And then, like Coop said, this is just the best Dolphins team we've probably ever seen. So I think if you're going to take them, you might as well take them now.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously we've all picked him. And I think he even picked him in the mock draft that I did with him. So if that doesn't give it away, I don't know what does. All right. Again, another smoke screen here after Finns. We have NYT picking. He's put the Browns as his logo. He said he's going to take them. Occasionally he'll move the Jets or the Bucks ahead of him. But for the most part, he's been pretty consistent saying it's going to be the Browns. And I tend to believe him. I think he's going to go with the Browns. He gets freight train in Nick Chubb, we assume. And he avoids Prime and Faz in the AFC South, but keeps the good ability. And then that team is pretty set. All you got to do is develop them, and NYT does a pretty good job of that as it is.
Yeah, NYT likes to have a good halfback, as you could see last cycle when he drafted like 7 or 8 in the same exact draft, just so he could get the best one. And the Browns, like Chubb he's amazing, and the team may actually be even better than when you just had him, Bomber.
Absolutely.
They got Watson now, so that's an upgrade at quarterback. You've still got all the same pieces there. So
yep, and then Amari Cooper's an upgrade over Jarvis Landry.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I even forget they have Cooper yet. I try to learn all the teams once we actually get Madden and I start looking at rosters. But, I can see NYT going there for sure. And if not, they'll go right next pick to Death Wish.
Yep.
Yeah, NYT in Primer, he had the Titans, and he was always telling me I'm not using Freight Train enough. And then he went and chased Freight Train with the Cardinals. And I don't know if Chubb's going to have Freight Train next season, but Chubb's still going to be Chubb. And yeah, he has Myles Garrett there. I know he likes to use his D-line sometimes to get the 3rd and 14 sacks. So I could see this being a good fit for him.
Yeah, Myles Garrett there, Jadeveon Clowney there. That would be 2 good guys for him to use her. All right, so then the next pick, and this, for you guys anyway, this leaves DW in a weird situation because he wanted the Jets. You have me taking him. He likes the Browns. NYT takes him. In my scenario, he ends up getting the Jets. But you've got him taking the Bengals, and then Coop has him taking the Lions. Why'd you go with those 2 teams?
So I guess mine was a little selfish. I knew that I wanted the Lions. So I was like, yeah, I saw his post earlier, and it was 10% Lions, 10% Bengals. We're gonna throw him on the Bengals because there's no way he'd pick a team that I was looking at. So definitely a selfish move by me, but regardless, that team is still really good. I think the defense is probably gonna be a little higher rated than they should be. Just we saw them catch fire in the playoffs last year, so EA tends to do that. We saw how they did the Bucks. I haven't looked real specific or real precise into this roster yet, so I could be wrong, but he's got a loaded team. He's got Mixon, good QB for the cycle, good QB or a good wide receiver 1. I think it's just a good team all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Coop, you went with the Lions?
Yeah, I threw the Lions on here. He's only listed 4 teams. I kind of think NYT is going to take the Browns, which he kind of has thrown off his list. But if you go with the Jets at pick 4, and then I think Woods goes back to the Bills, which I think that was maybe his other team that he had up there.
Yep.
But I think Deathwish, he likes to build a team. I think the team building's a lot of fun for him. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Lions if
Yeah.
that's what you're looking for, and the Jets are gone for the same reasons we talked about earlier.
Yep.
At your pick.
Yeah, I could see that, and I think he even mentioned it after watching the first episode of Hard Knocks. How the Lions jumped onto his list, so wouldn't be surprised to see that if it falls that way. All right, next up is you, Coop, and it. Funny enough, you two both have you taken the same one, which I imagine will be more right than what I have. But I have you taken the Ravens. I think with MYT there, maybe you follow him, so you get to play him twice a year. But the Commanders that you both picked is probably a good pick as well.
Yeah, I'm not actually sold that the Commanders will even be an option for me at my pick, and I do have the Ravens on my list. My list before I looked at any ratings at all, I had like 18 teams on it, and then I started looking. The Ravens, they seem to always be overrated in Madden, in my opinion. Like some of the guys that are just average, they kind of are boosted up for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens would be an excellent choice. I still, until we get the game, I don't even have a clue what I'm doing. But the Commanders would be hard for me to pass on, since I would like to take a team with some pass rushing. I guess the Ravens maybe have that a little, but not.
Yeah, not
they're
on the
probably
same
middle of the
level at all.
pack. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is more of a scheme pick for me, as opposed to who I think you want to take. What you do with the Chiefs, I've played you I think like 3 or 4 times since you've had the Chiefs, and you always play me really close, and then you just get like gun happy because you have Patrick Mahomes, and you can. I think with a quarterback, you almost have to play safe the whole game. You'll see a little more success there. And like you said, the D line is just crazy. So I think just playing a little safer on offense and then letting your defense do their thing, I think is probably a really good scheme fit. So
Yeah, and I think that Commanders team kind of reminds me the most of your Titans team from 2 cycles ago. That when you drafted what was his name, Givens.
Yeah, the edge rusher,
Yeah.
like defensive end. So yeah, I had a Givens, and Simmons was there, and he's always like really good
Yep.
in game, except for getting hurt all the time. But yeah, that team ended up being not too bad. I didn't never really do much with the offense, but it's not really what I'm good at. So
Yeah, this offense I think would be better with. I mean, you have Curtis Samuel, you have Antonio Gibson, McLaurin, and then Jahan Dotson is the rookie receiver. So I mean, maybe they'll be a little better. Quarterback is still a question mark there, but I kind of like the Commanders now that I'm thinking about it.
Wentz is not the future for sure.
Yeah. All right, so right after you pick, then it's Bean's pick, and in an amazing twist of events, me and Coop have the exact same pick, and Bean has a one that's off. So all three of us have the other 2 people have picked one team, and the person whose pick it actually is, oh no, Coop picked the Commanders. Either way, it's 2-1 on every one of them. Me and Coop picked the Packers. I thought the Packers would be a better fit for you. I thought a little bit of time with Aaron Rodgers while you develop Jordan Love, and then that defense being as good as they are and young. I thought the Packers would be a good fit, but I like the Lions there.
yeah, Coop, do you want to get out of the way before I tell you why I'll have the Lions?
Why it won't be the Packers?
Yeah, sure, I can go quick. I didn't know, so when I was doing this, like the Lions were gone, so I was kind of looking at either the Eagles or the Packers here at this pick, just a couple of good teams, and in that instance that the Eagles fall, like that might be your pick instead of the Packers. But yeah, I just threw the Packers on there. I really wasn't sure. This was kind of hard to do once you start going down the list and narrowing teams down.
So I definitely think I like the Packers roster way more, but on mine, the Lions were there, and ideally I get Dan in my division. We'll see if that actually turns out. If the Lions are gone, it's either the Packers or another division. I think I'm definitely going to take the Packers, but in mine, the Lions are there. And I cannot. I love the Jared Goff narratives, and I would be really happy to keep those going.
So what I heard is you're saving the Packers for Dan to come to the
Yes,
NFC North.
if they're both there, I know Dan, just little discussions here and there. I know he's pretty high on the Packers roster, so if they were both there, I think I'd be leaving the Packers for Dan to follow me.
Yeah, he's definitely high on the Packers. I think they may be his top NFC team, in fact.
Yeah.
Um, so that'll be interesting. So you think he's out on the Steelers then?
Yes.
Yeah, I
I,
think
I
so
think he's
too.
out on the Steelers.
I think the AFC is shaping up to be something he doesn't want a part of. And
Yeah, he'll guys that under he wants the Super Bowls to be good, but
yeah,
who's to say he's not just afraid?
all right. So as we see then, Dan with the next pick, you do have him going to the Packers. We both have him Steelers. I just kind of went with the we'll take him at his word. He's a pastor. He said he's 65% Steelers. I don't actually believe it, but um, we'll put him as Steelers. So you already kind of went with why you said Packers. I think if it shakes out where I go Lions, I think it's going to be tougher for him to call it for balance.
If you go Lions, I think he's going Steelers.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way.
Well, he wouldn't be able to get the Lions Packers matchup, so I'm assuming
Correct.
if I go Lions, you're not going Packers.
It's possible.
Or they
We'll
won't
see.
be there for him.
Yeah.
But okay. Coop, why'd you go with Steelers? What makes you so sure?
I just threw them on there. I think if he thinks like it's gonna end up where like most of the past Lombardi winners are gonna end up in the AFC, I can see him like going over to the NFC. But with me not really being sure, I just went ahead and threw the Steelers on there to keep it moving for now. But yeah, I had you Bomber taking the Jets.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he would hop in the AFC if everyone starts doing that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think this cycle maybe he changed his tune on going after the hardest guy. I mean, we saw him go after QB after QB came off his Super Bowls, Prime after or before the blip, and then Faz after the blip, and those last two didn't really work out for him too well. So I could see him looking for maybe what's the easier path to that Super Bowl, and then all it takes is one game. All right. So next up is Doink, and I used to have him down as the Vikings, but I could see him taking the Chiefs here. That's probably the best team available at this point, and we saw him do really well when he had a good quarterback, and then Turner, he had some growing pains with him. Finally got him to a decent spot and was okay, but I always felt like the quarterback position held him back, and with Mahomes on the board at his pick here, I think he's going to take him.
Yeah, I took the Vikings for one reason alone. Besides him being a quote-unquote supporter of them, I think he wants to follow me, and I think that'd be a fun division. I haven't really gotten to play him much since. I think I've probably played him like one or two times a cycle at this point, so I think getting 2 games a season would be fun, and
Okay.
that's why I think he's gonna follow me.
And Coop, you have him as the Eagles?
Yeah, I had the Eagles falling in this, if that happens. But yeah, in this scenario, the Eagles are on the board. I know he likes the Vikings. I think if like the Chiefs or the Eagles or some team that's like looking pretty good is still there, like and at the end of the day, that's where he'll go. But yeah, I had the Eagles falling down to 12, which seems crazy. As I was doing this list, like the teams that I had available, just it didn't seem like that's actually going to happen on draft day, but you never know. So I just had him taking the Eagles. But Chiefs also, if they're there, that's a solid pick.
So I'm listening to what Bean said. So you said Lions for you, Packers for Dan, because you guys want to be in the same division, and then Doink Vikings just to follow you as well.
Yep, 3 in a row.
Are you saying that we're probably no matter what going to see 3 in a row from the same division, or?
I think if Lions go ahead of myself, I don't think we're going to see 3 in a row because I don't think either of them want the Bears. Because why would you?
Yeah.
So if we decide, or if I guess if we decide to go to a different division, not that this is like a 3-man group or anything like that. It's kind of like a 2-man group, but 2-2-man groups, and I'm in both of them.
Everybody wants you. I get it.
Yeah. Everyone just wants to be with me, right?
Yeah.
So if we see the Lions go, definitely won't be in the NFC North, but it might be somewhere else. I know Dan said he was a fan of the Falcons. I'm interested in the Panthers, but I don't think Doink could run back with the Bucks. So I think this is one of the few.
Could we see him steal the Saints?
I don't think he has the heart for it, but You never know.
Yeah. What about well, I guess in that scenario, well, yeah, 2 teams are gone. I was thinking AFC North. Maybe Dan gets the Steelers, you take the Bengals, and Doink gets another AFC North team. But I guess in this scenario, DW's got them. That'll be an interesting one to watch. Sounds like we've got a
Well, if DW takes the Lions, that would be the flipper.
yeah,
So then it could be Steelers, Bengals, or Steelers, Bengals, Ravens,
Ravens.
which would be interesting. I'd
Yeah.
I'd be on board for that. I think I'd have to think about it long and hard, and I'd have to feel the game. But I think I like both. I would hate being the Ravens, man. But whatever's for content, right?
Yeah, so sounds like we got a little love triangle going on there.
Yeah, little love triangle.
We'll keep an eye on that. Faz pick, everybody's got him taking the Jaguars. I think with everybody taking having Prime take the Colts, Faz taking the Jags, he's already pretty much said he's going to go with the Jags. I would be surprised if he didn't, as much of a solid commitment he's had to them.
I don't think you'd ever be able to live down dodging Prime.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen.
Which, I mean, coming off 3 straight Simbardis, why would you dodge him anyway? I mean,
Yeah, I don't think he would avoid the Jags to dodge him. He might just find interest in another team. But no, it's the narrative league. We should just start calling it SNL. But yeah, if he avoids the Jags there, everyone's gonna be all over him. There's no way.
well, I think the other thing, Prime's got, 19 Simbardis?
Yep.
You're probably not catching him. You get close, you're probably getting the boot.
That's
What if you
NIT's
take-
been pledging for it.
What if you take one cycle and you just shut him out? You don't even need the 19 Simbardis to catch him. If you just head-to-head shut him out, he doesn't win a division or never gets to the Super Bowl because you block him every year. That could be
That'd be
enough
his
to
biggest
close
feat
that
yet.
legacy a bit.
That might be bigger than 20-0.
Yeah. Coop, what do you think? You've been here a while.
Yeah, that'd be something to see him like run the table if they were in the same division. But yeah, if Faz and Prime, they're both pretty good. When you get in the same division, you're playing each other that much. It's whoever's gonna win. I think they're both really good. So at the end of the day, I mean, you could have Prime taking it early because the Colts are maybe set up a little better early on, and then the Jags do develop well down the road, so it would get interesting for sure at the end of the cycle.
Yeah. All right, so then next up, we've got QP, and 2 of us actually have them taking the same team. And it's not Bean who hasn't taken the Chargers, but me and Coop haven't taken the Cardinals. Why'd you pick the Cardinals, Coop?
Yeah, here I wasn't sure. So in my mock, I had the Chargers off the board with pick 2, so they weren't even an option. And I just kind of was looking through teams. Some of the best teams left were like the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Cards, which the Chiefs are in the division with the Chargers, and he was just the Ravens. So I kind of went with the Cards as like the next best option here for him.
Okay. You get Kyler Murray, go from Lamar to Kyler. That would be that's kind of what I went with. I feel like he had the most success with the running quarterback. He did win a Super Bowl with Herbert, so maybe he would go back there to the Chargers, but he just doesn't seem sold on the Chargers. The AFC's getting stacked. If you can take what could be one of the best offenses in the NFC, combined with the best user and Buda Baker on top of that, I think the Cardinals and him over there would be close to probably doing what Faz did last cycle.
Yeah, I think with the Chargers on the board here, I don't think the Chargers are going to get any worse next Madden. So I think if you want to guarantee your chance to have them once in the SML, I think it's right now. I think Herbert's probably going to, in real life, he's going to put up a lot of numbers and probably move to
Yeah.
X Factor. You never know what's going to happen with the receivers, and the defense is probably just going to keep getting better. So they're right now, I think they're like a top 5 team. So I think just to be safe and make sure you have him at least once, I feel like he has to take him now.
Yeah, it makes sense. You would think everybody would want their favorite team once.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having the Brown. I don't know if I could do what Prime does, where he has them every year, but
No, definitely not.
but definitely would try to get them once. But
I'd
we'll see
miss
what
my
he does.
rookies a lot. My auto-generated rookies.
Yeah. So next up, we got Clink, and again, 2 of us on the same page here. Me and Bean have them taking the Falcons, and Coop with the Chiefs. Why the Chiefs, Coop?
Yeah, I really I was really confused here with Klink's pick. The way I had this, the Chiefs are probably too good to even be on the board at 15, in my opinion.
Yep.
But I've got some good teams falling here, and I don't really know if he wants a rebuild or if he wants like a good team. I just threw the Chiefs there. I thought they were kind of one of the best teams on the board at this spot, so that's where I put him. But I don't really know like where he wants to go.
All right. How about you, Bean?
Yeah, I think he really enjoys rebuilding teams. I think he likes drafting, and I think this is a great team to do that in it with the Falcons. On top of that, I mean he won the best user award, and now he would have the 92 speed guy. You can remind me his name. I'm sure you know it
Troy
off the top of
Anderson.
your head. Yeah, Troy Anderson. So I think it's just a good fit there. He can build up one of the QBs, or he can draft one. He could even trade the Deion Jones, I think his name is, get
Yep.
another first or something like that, and get a top quarterback. But I think this is just a good fit. I know he likes to rebuild teams.
Yeah, and he doesn't even really need the quarterback here in Atlanta because the top rated rookie coming in is Desmond Ridder, who's the quarterback that's there.
Oh yeah, forgot about Ritter.
I think
Saw
though,
him last night.
if somehow the Eagles fall, I think the Eagles are the pick there, just being his favorite team, and
Yeah, 100%.
same thing with the assets. I mean, they're coming in with 2 first-round picks, so I think if they're there, that would be the pick. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Same reason. You got the user. You've got a fairly young team that's got some places to build. They've got some cap. I think that would be a really good fit for him. Now here's where it gets interesting. Meats is the next pick, and you guys both have him going Ravens. You guys, Meats has said it before that he doesn't double up. You guys think he's gonna do it?
So I think with the division shaping out the way it is right now, I have NYT and DW there. I think it's definitely a division that he can win.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna go with that. I mean, Ravens are his favorite team. I know he said he doesn't double up, but I just think it's might be too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Coop, what do you think?
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking. This was the same. I think the Ravens are actually easily a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And I've got them falling here to 16. They are like his favorite team. I also had the Panthers, still on the board here, but if he's got that option and it's like, NYT with the Browns and he feels like he can compete, I could see him just taking the Ravens again.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I have you taking them a little higher, so I had to go with something different. I went with the Panthers. I think the Panthers are a really good team. I would probably have them in my top 5 if I was doing just overall teams to start a cycle with. Being that you have Mayfield and Matt Corral, you can kind of decide which quarterback you want to go with. You've got a running back. You've got fast receivers. The defense is quick and young. So you got a lot of things to build with there. But the other thing that maybe got overlooked is if you remember when Woods picked the Panthers 1 pick ahead of Meats, he said the Panthers were going to be his pick, and he kind of scrambled to take the Dolphins. There. So I think if they fall here, I think this may be a pick for him. And you still have the same thing. He's got Klink in that division. As of right then, you got D-Muse, who he's played and didn't really have the greatest success with against D-Muse. But you have to assume he'll be the Saints with the next pick. I think it looks like it's at least a fairly decent division for him. You don't have like a QP or a Faz in there, and I think he could go with the Panthers. Maybe he's got that jersey still saved, and he can pull it out and use that one.
Yeah, if the Panthers fall this far, I mean, I think all 3 of us had him falling this far, so I guess you can't really say it fell, but I definitely think that's a really good team, and I could see him doing that as well, especially like what you said, whenever Woods took him, seemed a little upset and kind of scrambled around and took the Dolphins, so
yep,
definitely a good pick.
All right, so then we've got D-Muse and the Saints, and he said he needs to throw some more smoke screens out there because his pick is always boring, and it is. I mean, it's probably about as boring as Prime's. Everybody knows who he's going to take, or at least thinks they know who he's going to take. But I think the Saints fall into him. Saints are not a bad team, so it's not a given that they fall to him. I think everybody's kind of assumed that they're going to fall, but that team is not bad. The defense is really good, secondary especially, and then you have Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and Kamara on offense. There's a lot of good pieces there to be excited about if you want the Saints. And other than missing that first round pick, that may scare a couple guys off.
Yeah, I know in the beta I tested the Saints out, and that defense is just they're insane. You got the great front seven, and then you also have really good DBs, which is the highlight of the team.
Yep.
But I tried out Winston, I didn't care for much, and then not having the first now, it's not something I think I would enjoy. But I definitely think they're a really really good team, and I think they're kind of going overlooked. I think Mike Thomas and Olave and Kamara really good weapons on offense, and they're on my really they're on the bottom of my long list. So if it comes
Yeah.
to it, I could consider myself taking them, but I don't think I'd have the heart to take them. So
All right. Cool.
Yeah, this is his favorite team, and in the SML, he hasn't had them yet, at least that I remember.
Yep.
I don't
No, you're
think
right.
he has. Yeah, but the Saints, it's a team that kind of everyone always ranks like close to the bottom 5 in previous Maddens and stuff, but they're never actually really that bad. I don't know what it is about them that like people aren't excited about the
Michael
way the
Thomas having like
roster's kinda
87 or
set up.
88 speed. I think
Yeah, him
that's
being a little slow kind of
Yep.
sucks, but like people don't seem to get excited about Kamara just because he's not like 90 plus speed. But
Yep.
I mean, it's a really good team overall.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the speed. All right, so after D-Muse, we have this is where it starts to get interesting because nobody really knows who any of these guys are going to take. And you can see we have 3 different choices here. With Fields, I haven't taken the Bengals. I just feel like Field and Joe Burrow are a mix that goes together. I mean, he's going to throw it all over the field. He's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. I feel like that would be a really good fit for Field. Kind of an already made team. You just have to just keep going with them. Even if you miss off seasons, you're okay.
yeah, I took him. Or I have him taking the Cardinals here. We saw what he did with Brady once he had a good quarterback. So I think he's gonna try and do the same thing again with Kyler. He also really liked throwing to Scotty Miller, those faster receivers, which the Cardinals are definitely not short of. And then another thing is with his schedule, he doesn't have to draft with this team. They're almost loaded pretty much every position that you need. He has really high flying offense, and then doesn't. I don't. Not that I'm aware of. I don't think he really cares too much about defense because we see him being like
Yeah.
one of the bottom 5 defenses every year, but always the top 5 passing offense. So this definitely is a team where he can air it out and send that ball.
All right, you went with the Panthers, Coop?
Yeah, I mean, at 18, I still have the Panthers, the Bengals, and the Niners like sitting there on the board, which are all pretty good teams. I could actually see him going with the Bengals. I picked the Panthers. I think a good pick for Field would be one that where he can just kind of re-sign the guys on the roster and not really have to worry too much about building a team because he doesn't really know his schedule, and even if he knows his schedule, like he might have to miss the draft or some part of free agency or whatever just because of kind of the hours that he has to pull. So yeah, I just gave him the Panthers. I thought they were maybe the best team on the board. Maybe that wouldn't be his pick, and he'd go with the Bengals, a little bit more offensive power.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was my reasoning behind that.
Okay. So next up, we've got Paulie, and I see Rice. You got him as the Bucks. So you think he might double up on pre-blip?
I don't think he's gonna double up on the Bucks. I think he's gonna double down on Brady, and I think this is his last opportunity to do that. So I mean, it's already it's a loaded team regardless. So he's gonna have his chance to draft another QB. I know he tried to do that with Daniel Jones and decided to just stick it out with Daniel Jones. But 1 year of Brady, maybe 2. I don't know how EA is gonna code that this year, and then I think he's gonna have to draft one. But the team's so built up elsewhere that you're pretty set. It's
Yeah,
all
I
about
kind of
Brady for me.
went with the similar thought in that he's going to want a really good team. I've heard him talk about Daniel Jones and how he was the only normal quarterback in the league and all this. And I think so with the Chargers sitting on the board here, I think he's going to take them, get Herbert, get superstars everywhere. He'll lose the ability to complain about not having any, but on the flip side, he'll have some. So I think he goes with the Chargers.
Yeah, that'd be a solid choice. I didn't have the Chargers on my board, so yeah, I slotted him here with the Bengals. I know he wants a team that he can compete with. He's kind of like Matt in that he wins a lot of regular season games and then says he isn't good. um, but it seems like this last draft we did, he wanted a good running back, and I know he likes a speedy receiver. So Bengals had both of those, so I threw him in. I don't know if he'll go to the AFC. I haven't seen him in the AFC since I've been here, so
Yeah, that's
we'll see
interesting.
what
I didn't
happens.
even think of that. All right. So next up is Grams, and I'm kind of surprised by Coop's pick here. I think me and Rice are on the same page. If the Cowboys are there, that's who he's going to take. That's who he's always taken. Um, but you haven't taken the 49ers.
Yeah, Graham, I know in the past he's played in a lot of leagues. He has always taken the Cowboys if they were there, and he's drafted a lot higher in some of these past SML drafts. And I know he's kind of gotten busy with work, and he's down here at 20 now. I think maybe he's getting bored of the Cowboys, or he'll take them in primer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him the 49ers, which is also a team that's way too good to be being picked at 20 overall.
Yeah, it's fun to watch some of these teams fall. That'd be interesting to see if he does pass up on him. If he does pass up on him, though, obviously you've got two-step getting the Cowboys with the next pick, and both myself and Rice have picked opposite teams here, but both in the NFC South. I went with the Bucks. I just felt best available team. That's who he's going to take. He's a tough one. Even he said that I say it on every single one, and it's probably because it's true.
Yeah, you never know what he's going to do. I don't even hear him like throw teams out there that he's interested in, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he knows, and he just kind of waits to see how the draft plays out. But he probably hasn't been the Cowboys in quite a while. You'd have to go back like 4 cycles or even more than that from maybe when he was the Cowboys in the past before we were here. But yeah, if for some reason Grams passes on him, I can see him just scooping up the Cowboys. But otherwise, he's just going to go best available of who's left, like you guys put him with.
And he's not one that like you can look at his past picks just this cycle. We had 2 drafts, so you get a little bit of maybe some tendencies of guys. He took the Falcons at first, and then he took the Vikings. To me, those are 2 very different teams. And that's just he just went with whatever he thought was the best available at the time, I think.
Yeah, and I don't even I guess I haven't played in his division enough. Like I don't even know what his play style's like or what he wants. But yeah, the Falcons and the Vikings couldn't be like more differently built, like totally different. And he just went the opposite direction when we did the redraft. So yeah, he's a hard one to knock down a team on.
Yep. So what about
Yeah,
you, Bean? Why'd you go with the Panthers?
well, I definitely struggled with this pick, like you guys did, but Panthers are one of the top teams available. I think I have a couple teams also falling. But whenever I played him, I only played him once ever, or maybe twice ever. He was actually really good at passing against me. So I took a team that was, had a really good passing core. I mean, he crazy receivers, and then he traded for Zach Wilson. I thought
Yeah.
the most similar quarterback to Zach Wilson that isn't Zach Wilson was Baker Mayfield. So I think he could sling it with Baker to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, and I think those are just good passing offense for him, and it's a great team. So
Yeah.
that's about it.
All right. So then next up, we've got Monty, and this one a team that's fallen criminally low. I've got Monty taking the Commanders here. I think Monty's a guy that probably, especially with now his new schedule, he's not going to have a ton of time to do anything but get his games in. So team building may not be his strong suit this cycle. And I think the Commanders, he was already hit for his bad defense, so why not go out and draft probably the best defense, at least the best defense on the board at this point. And I think he takes the Commanders. Saw what he did with Mixon and Burrow and Jamar Chase. Now you're going to have a quarterback in Sam Howell, I'd imagine, is the one he'll go with, but he can develop him like he did Burrow. And then you've got Gibson and McLaurin and everything that the Commanders have on offense. I think that's a perfect fit for him. Whether or not they make it this far, I think it's crazy that they're at this spot, but in this draft, that's where they're at.
Yeah, of the 49ers for basically the same reasons you said. I mean, he's got the user D line, which we know he loves to do. He loves getting on those blitzes. Good tight end. We've seen his teams lead or his teams be led by tight ends in receiving. Basically, almost every season he's been in here. He's got the mobile QB, and he doesn't have the draft picks, which he probably won't be able to attend given his
Yeah,
schedule. And even if he could attend, he's not really big on drafting, as far as I know. I know he always trades away his picks to Doink and I, so
there you
I
go.
just think this is probably the best fit of all the teams in the league, and they just happen to fall here for him
All right, Coop, you had
for
the
with the
Raiders.
Niners. The Niners,
No, Coop has the Raiders.
yeah.
Yeah, I picked the Raiders. So I think Monty's another guy that's probably just going to take best available here. I like a good defense that makes a lot of sense for him. I know when he joined, like my all-time highest SML score was a game against Monty, like his first season in, and I'm not known for offense at all. So if that tells you anything, but yeah, I threw him with the Raiders. I don't think he's afraid to like RD's a few spots down still. Um, it was either the Raiders or the Bucks. The Bucks are going to have some guys you need to replace. The Raiders are pretty kind of solid overall. They've got offense and defense, so that's why I put them there in the AFC.
Okay, I like that one. Next up, after Monty, we've got Noel. And we just talked to Noel in chat earlier, and I was telling him I thought the Broncos were a good fit for him. But that's before this team fell to him. I've got him taking the 49ers. Trey Lance gives him that superstar quarterback, or at least you got to imagine at least be star this year, but a decent young quarterback he can develop. Um, you've got Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, a bunch of different running backs, whether or not any of them are any good. I know Elijah Mitchell's not bad, but you got Kittle there, and then the defense is already pretty much in place. I think the 49ers would be a good fit for him, but I could still see him even passing on them and taking the Broncos, which is who you haven't taken.
Yeah, I had him taken. I just think they're one of the best teams available on the board, and we know he wants a good passer. Or I don't know if he wants a good passer. He should want a good passer.
Yeah.
And Russell probably play 6 seasons, give or take. So I think you'll have 75% of the cycle with a good QB, and then he can do something similar to this post blip where he just has some random rookie drafted QB, and he drafted an X Factor guy, so
Yeah. Well, that's
maybe he's good at drafting QBs. So we'll see.
if he goes with the Broncos, and you've got Russell Wilson, when you do your weekly practice or whatever, and you can do backups at quarterback for your whoever your young
Mhm.
guy is, and you focus that guy because Russell Wilson in 6 seasons he may get you a point. There's no point
Yeah,
in
he might have that mentor trait. I have no idea which if they have
that's
released
true.
traits or not yet, but
Yeah, they'll have that too.
he
So
seems like a mentor kind of guy.
so I think the Broncos are definitely a good pick for him. But you went with the Bucks, Coop.
Yeah, I went with best available here. I on paper for whatever reason the Broncos this year in past Maddens and stuff they've looked pretty nice. I think some of the guys are rated lower. Obviously, we don't know any devs or anything like
Yeah.
that, but I think Broncos are easily the fourth best team in that division, and I just picked the Raiders to Monty above, so no would fill out the AFC West with, in my opinion, the worst team in the division.
Okay.
So I went the Bucks. I think he will have to replace the quarterback again. I don't know if he wants to do that 2 cycles back to back, like moving on from Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, that still leaves his buddy, who him and Colt always seem to pick back to back, like somehow every every single cycle. So that would allow, and that was my next pick, was Colt, just following him to the same division since they're friends.
All right, so let's pull that one up. So you've got Colt, and you've got him taking the Falcons.
Yeah, and this is a rebuild team, but like I just have him following Noel if that's a possibility the way the draft falls. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I put them both in the same division there, and that was my thinking on picking the Falcons.
All right.
Yeah, I did a control F in the chat and I typed in his name, and the only thing I could find is that he mentioned Noel and how they got pulled up to SML around the same time, or they were in prime together at the same time. So I just said, you know what, they're linked together for life, and I linked them together again. And
There
I
you go.
went with the
Okay.
Chiefs because they were somehow still on my board.
Which is another one. Yeah, that's another one. It's crazy to see how far they fall. Um, I haven't taken the Vikings, so I didn't have him following Noel. And I had him taking the Vikings. I think the Vikings are probably a perfect fit for him. At least the way he plays offense. Defense is a little old. You're gonna have to rebuild them. But you've got Dalvin Cook and you've got Irv Smith. You got your tight end and your running back, and that's all Colt really needs. So I think the Vikings would be a good fit for him there. And then you've even got pieces like Justin Jefferson just to add on to that. But he doesn't even need a receiver. All right, and then we have Dump picking. Dump here. We have him taking 3 different teams. I have him taking the Raiders. I know it's a pick in front of RD. They played in a division together. Dump was the 49ers. RD was the Rams. I don't think Dump would have any problem taking the Raiders, the pick right before RD. And I think that's exactly what he does. And he'll probably talk about it before he even does it too. He'll make it known if he's going to do that. But that's what I have him taking is Raiders. I just think that at this point they're probably the best available. So that's where I see him going. And he might even get a little enjoyment out of taking them in front of RD.
Yeah, I had him go on the Giants here. I think the rest of the division, as it stands with my mock draft, it would be Coop, Grams, and Mike. And I think Dump would be all aboard throwing a wrench into that and just causing as much chaos. Right now, it's 3 guys that are pretty relaxed guys, you know,
And then
and
you get
then
Dump.
Dump could just come in and have to wreak havoc.
I
And
can
Coop
see.
would be all for it because he's Team Chaos.
Yep. All right,
Oh,
Coop. So
yeah.
you haven't taken the Rams.
Yeah, and I don't actually know when we get to draft day like what's gonna happen, but I know Dump Dump's another guy that he's gonna be maybe kind of busy with work and maybe doesn't want to do like a rebuild in the off season or anything like that. So I just gave him the Rams. You've got I mean they're the Super Bowl champs and we've got them down here at 25 because they're kind of older and they're missing some picks and stuff, but yeah, if he's worried about off seasons, I just threw him the Rams as kind of the best team left.
Okay, that makes sense. So next up, we've got RD, and only Bean has the Raiders left. But we both went kind of similar directions here in that I give him the Titans, you give him the Texans. I just went tight. Derrick Henry seems to fit his run first kind of offense. I think he'd enjoy Malik Willis. Having a little bit mobile quarterback. He had Dak Prescott for a while. Malik Willis is quite a bit kind of polar opposite of that. He's more of a runner than a passer, but I think he would enjoy. He might even use Tannehill. But Jeffrey Simmons, Caleb Farley. I think the Titans are a good fit for him. He's clearly not worried about going and following Faz and Prime. He's even brought up that he would take the Texans. I think with the Raiders gone, he ends up going with the Titans.
Yeah, I could see him going Titans. I threw the Texans on here, but when we get the game, you just kind of see how much work the Texans need.
Yeah.
Like if the Titans are still there on the board, which they were on mine, I just threw them the Texans anyways. But yeah, I could see him going Titans. Titans are a hard team to really get. They're kind of older. But they have a lot of good pieces and they're kind of set to, start winning and rebuilding. But yeah, the Titans are a good pick for RD if the Raiders are gone.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not exactly sure how the Raiders fell here. I was just going down pick by pick, and I didn't have a reason for anyone to take them, and so they ended up making it to 26. So RD would be pretty happy with that, and I think he'd snap pick the Raiders,
Oh,
and it'd probably
absolutely.
be the pick.
Yep. All right,
Yeah,
so
he
after
wouldn't even
RD,
wait 2 seconds.
we've got QB stud, and his Seahawks are gone at pick 5, so he's got to come up with something else to do here. I've got him taking the Bears. He's been kind of all over the place with who he says he wants or whatever. We just saw him move up another spot today because Tiny dropped back, but I still think he may go with the Bears there.
I'm not really sure why I have the Steelers here. I think this is around probably when they'll get taken. I think they're better than some of the other teams I have remaining on the board. So I think he'll get a new division. I think he'll go to the AFC North just because that's one of the best teams available, and it's in a easier division.
Oh, if it works out that way, it would be an interesting one to watch because he would have to play MYT twice a season. And MYT, the one that ran him out of SML the first time. So that'll be interesting to watch. Coop, you got him taking the Giants.
Yeah, I have. He moved up in this draft a little bit, probably maybe a couple spots ahead of where he thought he was going to be picking. I've got some good teams there, but yeah, I gave him the Giants. In my mock, it would be me and Doink in that division, with Doink probably being the best guy there, and then you got TTS with the. I got two step with the Cowboys, so I mean, pretty much the most of the competition would be Doink, so that's why I kind of went with the Giants in this scenario of if kind of that's how it plays out, even though there's some better teams left.
Okay, so you think he's looking for maybe an easier way back to the playoffs, get his feet wet?
Not necessarily, but yeah, I think if he's got these options there and like it's not really a loaded division, I think the Giants have enough to work with where he might be okay taking them.
Okay. So after him, we've got Gouda picking, and you went with the Vikings for Gouda. Any reason behind that, or just that's what was there?
Yeah, Smooth is talking them up like they're like a top 10 Madden team. So I figured maybe some of that Gouda finally is like looks at him like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just go the Vikes here. He's probably just happy to not be picking the Bears, Patriots, Texans at this point. So yeah, I gave him Vikes. I thought they were kind of maybe the best available besides the Broncos left on my board.
Okay. Rice, you got the Titans.
Yeah, I have the Titans. He was one of the one of the many guys DMing me about Derrick Henry. So I think he's gonna go right for Derrick Henry this
Okay.
time. I don't have anything else about this is just coin toss for me.
Yeah, I put him down as the Broncos because I thought they were probably one of the best ones available. And then I just now, as we're going through it, realized I think he's a Raiders fan, and the Broncos probably not going to be one of his favorite teams out of the ones left. But I do think they may not even be one of the best available. I guess, no, I still have them ahead of the Rams. So I'm going to stick with the Broncos. But being a Raiders fan, he may not like that pick at all. And then next we have Tiny and the team that I may have given Gouda ahead of the Broncos, but they're probably a little bit older. I got Tiny taking the Rams. I think the Titans are gone. I think at this point he's just looking for the best available team. He's going to have Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Allen Robinson, Bobby Wagner. Cam Akers will be there. Matt Stafford should be a little bit of a bump after the Super Bowl run. Cooper Kupp. I think the Rams will be his pick.
I'm coming with the Bears joining me, Dan, and Doink. And I don't really have many reasons for it. I saw his profile picture was the Bears, so that was my snap decision.
That's probably a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with the Titans. I had them falling here, which it was kind of a toss-up at RD's pick, and I gave him the Texans. But yeah, the Rams wouldn't be a bad choice for Tiny. I mean, it's kind of crazy the stuff you start looking at in Madden, and the Super Bowl champs are falling all the way down here to the bottom. But yeah, Titans were left on my board, and they're easily better than the Bears or Pats. So that was my thing.
Yeah, he may not want to be in a division with Faz and Prime, and with your mock RD
and
as well.
RD. Yeah, he would easily be the fourth best player there because you've got all Simbardi winners.
So that's a question then. Since I'm looking at it, I've got RD taking the Titans. You haven't taken the Texans. Do you think RD takes the Texans and lets Tiny have the Titans, or do you think he would not even worry about taking Tiny's team 4 spots ahead of him?
I don't think. I think Tiny's kind of ruled out the Titans for himself, and we're kind of all just guessing here of how all this plays out.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't think RD would have any problem taking the Titans up there where he's taken, because it's still a few picks ahead of Tiny, so it's not like he's picking right in front of him.
That's true too. Yeah, you don't know if they'd even get him. All right, so next up is Biz, our first of the bottom 3, and we actually have different teams here in the bottom 3. somewhat, but some similar. I've got him taking the Giants. From what I know of him, just from what people have said about Primer, he likes to use his halfback, whether it's passing to him or running him. And of the teams left that I've got, Saquon Barkley easily the best running back in that group. So I think he'll go with the Giants.
Yeah, just to piggyback onto what you said, I had the exact same thought process. I had the Rams, Patriots, and Texans were my final teams, and Cam Akers is far better than any of the other guys. So, going with the Rams.
Any reason for the Broncos, or just best of the three?
Yeah, Broncos probably shouldn't be here at 30. So, yeah, I mean, I already picked the Rams above and had already picked the Giants previously. But, yeah, I think it's, if you have the choice between the Broncos, Bears, or Patriots, like, that seems like an easy pick to me.
Okay. So then that means moving on, KJ dropped himself to 31 because he was going to retire. And judging by the looks of it, may regret that decision. Me and Bean both have him taking the Patriots. You've got him taking the Bears. Do you think he favors? Obviously, you think he favors the Bears over the Patriots. Any reason why?
The Bears really in real life did almost nothing this whole offseason, and they were awful last year, which is pretty surprising. But yeah, the Patriots are always a team in Madden that's just fairly like kind of boring. Like they're good up front, like in the trenches, but that doesn't always convert over to Madden. And you've got Mac with 85 throw power, which I don't know if he'd be crazy about that. So yeah, I gave him the Bears here. I think they're a little more fun roster than the Patriots.
Yeah, so I've got him either the Patriots or the Texans, and division kind of played a big part here. He can either be the Texans and face RD, Faz, and Prime, or he can be the Patriots, an equally bad team, and face Woods, DW, and Finns. And to me, KJ doesn't expect to win much, but at least he'll get a win if he goes the AFC East as opposed to the AFC South. So I got the Patriots.
Yeah, division was a really important factor for me. But then just thinking about it a little bit more, he got his selfless X factor for donating all the PS5s. We're getting everyone PS5s.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be selfless and give Mac Jones to D-Muse. And then we saw what he did in his quote-unquote retirement game with Jameis Winston going like 5 for 5 with 2 TDs.
That is true.
So I could see we get Jameis Winston in red, white, and blue.
All right, so that means our last pick is B-Hole. And two of us have him going the Texans. Obviously, last available. You have Patriots. Obviously, no reason to talk about why he would take them. It's because there's no other option.
He doesn't get to.
So instead of that, why do you think the Patriots are the worst team, Coop?
Well, I don't think they are.
Okay.
So I think you guys have it right with the Texans as the worst team, but I had slotted RD there to go to the AFC South, and I picked the Texans over the Titans. So I think we all probably three agree that the Patriots and Texans are probably, the bottom couple teams you're looking at there.
The B-hole of the league, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't think this is it's not too surprising. You guys had the Patriots going 31. I've got them 32. Obviously, I think the Texans are worse, but I had them picked above.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Texans, they have all those picks, and you get really excited. Oh, I got a first this year. I got a first next year. You need a lot more than two firsts.
Yeah.
You're going to use up those picks really quick and realize your roster is still awful.
Yeah, you get some first-round picks, and you're looking and like, man, I kind of want like 20 new starters.
Yeah. I mean, you could do something with those picks and maybe make that roster decent early, but you've got to send the picks, and you don't even have enough trades in that first season to get rid of all the picks and get enough guys.
Is he even eligible to trade picks?
It'll be interesting to see what Prime does.
I'm pretty sure Prime told me it was SML only, not Primer. But
yeah, so if that's the case, then he can't even trade him first season, and that's just brutal because that's his biggest asset.
Yeah. I think this matchup just makes too much sense for me. Texans, like the B-hole of the world, in Houston, and then he said he wanted a challenge, and I don't think you're going to get much more of a challenge than Prime and Faz. So.
Oh no, you definitely get a challenge now. But
yeah, I was pick 32 a couple Maddens back because I joined late. I think maybe Madden 20. So Madden 21, like I think or maybe I'm got their numbers all wrong. Maybe it's Madden 20 that I was pick 32, and the Texans kind of look like the sort of roster that I ended up with. I had the Dolphins, whatever year that was, and they had some pieces. I think maybe that are even a little better than the Texans, and the Texans look pretty bad.
yeah,
I probably had Laramie Tunsil at that time.
Well, you said some fast linebackers, which that's always nice to have. And the Texans maybe have one, but they need a lot of help.
Yeah, I think they need more help than they have capital for in the first 2 seasons combined. So that's going to be a tough one for old Beal. He's going to probably take a pounding.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so that's been the SML mock draft 1.0. Thanks for being on, guys, and I'm sure we'll have many more before the actual draft, maybe as developments get released when the game drops here Monday night, and look forward to seeing where everybody thinks everybody else is going to go, and then finally the draft on the 2nd when we can stop guessing and see where it's actually going to be for the next year.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
Thanks for having
Yep.
us on.
All
Yeah,
right.
excited to see those devs, and I'm sure we'll be back.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good night, guys.